Imagine a world far beyond our own, where the skies are painted in shades of red and orange, the surface is a vast, barren desert, and the only sound you hear is the wind sweeping through dusty plains. That world is Mars, a planet that has fascinated humanity for centuries, and a planet that some believe could one day become our second home. But what if? What if we could live on Mars? What if, instead of gazing at the red planet from afar, we could actually set foot on its surface, build cities, grow food, and raise families there? Could humans survive in this alien world? So far from Earth, so different from our own home. In this video, we're going to explore that very question. The harsh reality of Mars, a world that wants to kill you. The first thing we need to understand is that Mars is a very hostile place. Unlike Earth, which has a thick atmosphere that shields us from harmful radiation and keeps temperatures within a habitable range, Mars is a world that constantly threatens survival. Let's start with temperature. Mars is much colder than Earth. The average temperature on the red planet is around 80 degrees Fahrenheit or about 60 degrees Celsius. That's far colder than the coldest places on Earth. At the poles, temperatures can drop to a bone-chilling 195 degrees Fahrenheit or 125 degrees Celsius. You'd be lucky to survive outside without advanced thermal protection. But that's just the beginning. The atmosphere on Mars is another obstacle. It is 100 times thinner than Earth's atmosphere and is composed mostly of carbon dioxide, with only trace amounts of oxygen. That means there's no breathable air for humans. If you tried to step outside without a spacesuit, you wouldn't last long. You'd need a spacesuit to keep you alive, to provide oxygen, and to protect you from the extreme temperatures and radiation. And that's not all. Mars has almost no magnetic field, which means there's nothing to shield its surface from the harmful radiation coming from the sun. Without protection, this radiation could seriously damage human cells and cause long-term health problems. The only way to survive would be to live in habitats that could provide shielding from this radiation, either by burying our structures underground or building them with special materials that block out radiation. Mars's gravity is another challenge. The planet's gravity is only about 38% that of Earth's. While this might sound like a good thing for reducing the strain on our bodies, the truth is that living in low gravity for long periods can cause serious health problems. On Earth, gravity helps keep our muscles and bones strong. But on Mars, without regular exercise, our muscles and bones would weaken over time. This could lead to a range of health issues, including osteoporosis and muscle atrophy. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station, which has even less gravity than Mars, already experience these effects. So a Mars colony would need to find ways to keep the human body healthy, likely through regular physical activity or artificial gravity solutions. So, assuming we manage to survive the harsh environment outside, what would it take to actually live on Mars? The first and most obvious need is shelter. We would need to build habitats that could protect us from the planet's extreme temperatures, lack of oxygen, and harmful radiation. One possibility is to build domed cities or underground habitats. The surface of Mars is made of a rocky, dusty material called regolith, and scientists believe that we could use this material to build structures on Mars. There's even research being done into 3D printing entire habitats using Martian soil. The idea is that we could use the resources on Mars rather than relying on Earth to send supplies. This approach, known as in-situ resource utilization, could be critical to long-term survival. But building these habitats isn't as simple as just putting up walls. we'd need to make sure they are airtight and able to support human life. We'd need systems that provide us with oxygen, remove carbon dioxide, regulate temperature, and manage waste. And all of this would need to be powered somehow. One option could be solar power. While the sun is farther away from Mars than it is from Earth, it still provides enough energy to power solar panels. However, Mars's atmosphere is full of dust storms which could block out sunlight for long periods. So, we'd need very efficient solar panels that can work in those conditions. One idea is to use nuclear power. A small nuclear reactor could provide a steady source of energy, allowing a Martian colony to function even during long periods of darkness. Once we have energy, we also need to think about food. Growing food on Mars will be one of the biggest challenges for any colonists. The Martian soil is not conducive to plant growth, it lacks the necessary nutrients, and there are also high levels of toxic chemicals. But scientists are working on ways to overcome this problem. One approach could be hydroponic farming, which allows plants to grow in water with nutrient solutions rather than soil. This method has been successfully used aboard the International Space Station and could be adapted to grow crops on Mars. Additionally, Martian greenhouses would need to be built to provide a controlled environment for farming, where temperature, humidity, and light can be regulated. Living on Mars would be about more than just survival. It would be about maintaining a functioning society. The mental and emotional challenges of living on Mars could be just as dangerous as the physical ones. A colony on Mars would be incredibly isolated, and the people who live there would be cut off from Earth for long periods. Communication with Earth would take between 13 and 24 minutes, depending on the positions of the two planets. So it's not as if you could just pick up the phone and call home. Being so far away from family, friends, and the support systems we take for granted on Earth could lead to feelings of isolation, loneliness, and depression. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station already experience these feelings during long missions. So a Mars colony would need to find ways to support the mental health of its inhabitants. Psychologists suggest that regular communication with loved ones, entertainment, and recreational activities could help reduce feelings of isolation. But the key will be building a strong, supportive community. People who are willing to live on Mars will need to be able to work together under extreme pressure and stress. And conflict resolution will be a critical skill. Social dynamics could also be challenging. In a small, confined space, everyone would need to work closely together. There would be very little room for privacy or personal space, and every conflict could have serious consequences. The leadership structure of the colony would also be crucial. Decisions about resources, safety, and other critical matters would need to be made quickly and efficiently. And with limited resources, every decision could impact the survival of the colony. So what does the future hold? Is living on Mars a realistic possibility? The short answer is yes, but it's going to take a lot of work. Companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and NASA are already working on technology that could one day make Mars colonization a reality. SpaceX's Starship, for example, is designed to transport humans to Mars and other destinations in the solar system. NASA has plans to send astronauts to Mars by the 2030s, with the goal of establishing a permanent human presence there sometime after that. However, the technological challenges are enormous. We need to develop sustainable life support systems, energy solutions, transportation methods, and ways to grow food and recycle waste. And all of this needs to be done while ensuring the safety of the people living on Mars. The first few missions to Mars will likely be focused on exploration and building basic infrastructure. But over time, we may see the development of permanent colonies complete with research stations, farms, and even homes. Living on Mars would be an incredible achievement for humanity. It would be a symbol of our ingenuity, determination, and desire to explore the unknown. But it would also be a test of our ability to work together and solve problems under extreme conditions. The dream of colonizing Mars may still be a long way off, but it's a dream that could one day become a reality.